The Springfield Rifle in Battlefield 1. I unlocked this bad boy on the first day, as with all the other rifles actually, because I've almost exclusively been playing the Scout class so far. I'm already rank 14 or something stupid. It's one of the weapons I was looking forward to using most of all, perhaps because it's iconic in Western history, along with the BAR, the Browning automatic rifle. But overall, I think it's the bolt-action rifle that you should be aiming to unlock in the game right now, or on Friday when everyone else has access. Before we get to that though, I want to address the Scout class in the final game in comparison to what it was like during the open beta. Is there less of a focus on the Scout role, the bolt-action rifles, and those goddamn spotting flares than there was previously? Overall, I'd have to say yes. The different maps and environments in the final game in comparison to the one map, Sinai Desert, in the beta, they do cater to more than just the Scout class. That said, it's clear to see it's still an extremely popular class that lots of people want to play, and I think that's in part because it's much easier to snipe in Battlefield 1 than it was in previous titles. If you're looking for a comparison, then I'd say it's on par with Bad Company 2 level of skill and fun factor. My god, is it satisfying when you get a kill with a rifle in Battlefield 1, and in terms of its speed of movement, I think it's on par with Battlefield 3, minus the scope sway. I'm not sure in Battlefield 1 if there is scope sway or not. Long-range targets do tend to be much harder to hit with the new bullet drag system that DICE implemented as well, and when you're suppressed, your scope will sway off target, warning you that you might want to take cover. But overall, it's definitely easier to snipe in Battlefield 1 than it has been previously, but there's now more room for the other classes in the game with the different maps for you to play on and the different game modes as well. I do still think the support class needs a little bit of love though. The way the weapons work, with them being extremely inaccurate when you first start firing and then them getting more and more accurate the longer you fire, is a little bit weird to get started with, and definitely when you first start firing I think they're just too inaccurate. I mean, like the Lewis gun is just a little bit ridiculous, but it's nice to see that the medic class is being more effective in the final game. I'm getting revived all the time. I'm still not getting revived as much as I'd like, but then again, I haven't played the medic class at all, so I should probably get out there and return the favours that people have given me so far. But let's get back to the Springfield Rifle specifically then. Why is this rifle the one that you need to be using? There are a few reasons why really, but the biggest one is to do with its sweet spot mechanic. This is another new feature to the Scout class specifically in Battlefield 1, and it increases the damage of the rifle's bullet at certain ranges, giving it a range where it performs most effectively. Now with this weapon, the Springfield, the minimum damage starts off at 80 out to 80 meters, and then the sweet spot starts to kick in, increasing the damage up to 100 maximum at 100 meters, which is almost the ideal range you'd want to be using a scoped rifle in Battlefield 1. The engagement ranges overall in this game have been somewhat reduced, and pulling off 300 meter plus headshots just aren't as common as they once were in Battlefield 4. Most of your work is going to be done in the 50 to 150 meter range, or around that mark. That's not to say that the longer range engagements can't happen. My longest headshot in Battlefield 1 so far is about 330 meters or so. I got that today, a lovely long range effort on a fellow scout who was camping out behind some rocks on Foul Fortress. It did take me a few hits to get him down, but in the end it was definitely worth it. Like I mentioned, the feeling that you get when you land a headshot in Battlefield 1 every single damn time, I don't know, it just must be the audio mixed with the animation of you rechambering another round. It's just really, really cool. So yes, you are going to be operating in closer ranges than you did previously, and for that, a rifle with a sweet spot around the 100 meter mark is going to be the one that you're going to want to use. For example, the Russian 1895 rifle sweet spot starts to drop off after 100 meters or so, and that makes it more reliable for closer range combat, but anything over 100 meters, unless you get a headshot, isn't going to get you a one-shot kill. The Gewehr M95 doesn't technically have a sweet spot. I mean, yes it does, but it's at close range and it isn't 100 damage. Its maximum is 90 unless you get a headshot, but its damage drops off similar to what rifles used to do in previous Battlefield games, where after a certain initial distance, the damage steadily decreases. The Gewehr 98, although very similar sounding to the M95, is actually completely different. It starts its sweet spot a little bit earlier than the Springfield Rifle, but it doesn't fire as fast as the Springfield does. All the bolt-action rifles have little trade-offs against each other. As with a lot of weapons in Battlefield 1, they're balanced to have their own role, and they work best in certain situations. Now, the Springfield is one of the bolt-action rifles in Battlefield 1 to have the sniper variant as an option for the weapon. This will give you access to the higher powered scope, and that allows for bigger magnifications to be set in the settings. It also comes in a Marksman variant, where a lower powered scope is given and the maximum magnification is 4. Now, I've used both extensively during my 4 or so hours of playtime today, and I'd say both are pretty much equal in terms of their effectiveness. Going back to that effective range and the sweet spot mechanic, the sniper variant allows you to catch that sweet spot most of the time, as you'll have the tendency to leave a little bit more space between yourself and your target with that higher powered scope. The Marksman variant is great for more close quarter maps like the clip I showed you of Argonne Forest at the start of this video, where the longer lines of sight allow for some awesome shots to be pulled off, hitting that sweet spot, but the lower powered scope can help you pick out targets that are closer to you and do the minimum 80 damage and either finish them off with a pistol or allow your teammates to just swoop in and confirm that kill for you. I'd say it's not only the bolt-action rifle you should be aiming for in the game right now, but it's probably the most versatile of all of them that you could pick. The Russian 1895 does come close. It's really a toss-up between the two of them, but I think the Springfield wins out this time for me. I haven't had much hands-on time with the experimental version of the Springfield, the variant with the Pedersen device, and that allows the rifle to become a semi-automatic rifle, but I'll save that for another video, I think. It's kind of a separate variant from the other two, and really the only rifle in the Scout class that offers a similar role to perhaps what the DMRs provided in Battlefield 4, or what the medics have here in Battlefield 1 with their true semi-automatic weapons. So that's the Springfield. Now I want to move on to some fixes that DICE are committed to working on at the moment. The game has been out for a few days now. Early access players have been filling the forums with their lovely feedback. First of all, EA have come out and given pricing lists for the rental servers that will be launching in November, and they are separate for PC and console. The prices are on the screen for you now, and as you can see, they aren't exactly cheap. EA have also said they're working on implementing a kick ban function for the server rentals as well, based on community feedback. I'm not sure why you'd need community feedback to know that a kick/ban function is 100% necessary. I mean, what if you had a hacker on the server that you just laid down over $100 to have access to? I'd be pretty unhappy if I wasn't able to kick that player and they were ruining my game because they were hacking. Come on guys, stay on the ball here. Another change is the ability to customize your loadout from the main menu rather than directly in a match in the game. Now, DICE developers on Reddit have come out and stated that this is currently disabled and will be turned on after the full release of the game to make sure things are as stable as possible for the release. Credit to DICE here, providing a stable launch for all players should be their #1 priority, and it seems that they're really gunning for that at the moment. And finally, the medals in the game are not currently being tracked properly. Various issues with previous week's medals still being tracked and the new ones not becoming visible. The teams are aware, they're working on getting it fixed. It is a little bit of a bummer, but I have been able to unlock some of the medals anyway. They're a really good way to get your hands on some XP. So there you are, the Springfield Rifle. In my opinion, the rifle you should be aiming for in Battlefield 1 right now. or on Friday if you don't have access yet. Let me know down in the comments if you're excited to jump into Battlefield 1, or how far you've got through the ranking system if you already have access to the game. I'll be down there reading and replying to as many comments as I can. Once again, apologies for my horrific voice today. Probably sounds a little bit different to yesterday. I don't have such a runny nose anymore. I've just got an extremely sore throat. So this commentary took a lot longer to make than you might think. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.